All right, so again, kind of a choppy morning. Had a nice gap up in the market today. Pulled back hard. Here's our ISM number and our JOLTS number. Pulled the market down pretty hard right below the pivot point. Drifted down, drifted down. We had a nice buy super system set up right here for a nice little profit here. Now we're just watching. Again, the momentum indicator is blue and green now. It's even green. So again, I cannot trade the SPY short here, even though the SPY setup looks like a nice short. Technically, I can't trade against this. Triple Q's also green on momentum, below the VWAP. You can't trade it long. We're getting some real divergence here in the price action in the momentum indicator right now, so I'm being a little leery here. I want to see what happens. Hey Kyle, ready for Mr. Wise today? Thanks. Welcome to the YouTube feed. How are you this morning? Very funny. All right. Again, we've got the momentum indicators green here. The SPY is come down pretty hard. It's tried to bottom. It's come up. It's right at the VWAP. There's no trade here right now. Again, we took profits today in IONQ. We took profits in NOC. Took profits off of that short on Northrop Grumman. We took profits in IONQ. We took a loss in PLTR. We've had that on for quite a while. We took that off. It's falling. It's breaking down today. Haven't done anything else except I did take some SARO, SARO. I took some puts in SARO. It's kind of a thinly traded option stock, but I did take some. Kyle, you had a nice trade at MES today. Good trading the futures. Nice, excellent, nice job. Saro's still breaking down here again. I paid $1.80 for the 725 puts, expiring next Friday. Spreads are pretty wide. I don't know what they are now. Let's look. Saro, 185 by 215, and I paid $1.80. I've got a sell order at 230. It's got intrinsic value right now of $1.89, and it's going for $1.85 by 215. So if you can get in for $1.90, $1.95, that's a good price, because you're basically getting in almost right at intrinsic value. SPY still weak here. Momentum's still green here. It's likely to turn yellow here in just a minute. And just watching here. No urgency for me to do anything right now. You want to restructure the sticky note? Yeah. I don't know how much I can do with it. If you have any suggestions on it, let me know. I just needed something to keep out there that I could update from time to time, and the thing is, you've got, I don't want to make it too big. It's already covering quite a bit of territory here. Kyle, you're short the MS with the stop above the VWAP. Yeah, I don't. The only thing that gives me pause here is the momentum. Is current time frame momentum is giving me green here. It's moved up pretty strongly, even though the price has not reflected that. That makes me concerned that we're going to get a pop here, and it's just riding just below the VWAP. So I'd be careful. It may turn around and be nice, but scratched it. Yeah, I don't blame you. So we can re-enter. I mean, that's why trading price action is perfect. But again, it's got to line up with the momentum as far as I'm concerned. I've got to have some momentum that corresponds to the price action I'm looking for. And this is just telling me that the momentum is strong, so we're getting some move up, but it's pretty choppy here. And I think the cues are the same way. Yeah, the cues are the same way. Multi-time frame, of course, is red, but the current time frame is not. But this would naturally be red because we've had such a pullback. But this is telling me I have to be careful on my short right now. That's all. Now look at Saro. You see what Saro's doing. You can see the momentum indicator on it. It's bearish as heck. Kyle, you wanted to drop off the VWAP to be immediate. Yeah, I mean that's what you want to see. Obviously, chop is nobody's friend here unless you're selling premium. Yeah, those are good suggestions, Dimitri. I'll keep those things in mind and take a look at making adjustments in the sticky note. I'm not going to try to do it during the trading day, but you want me to remove the double spaces. I just thought it was easier to see when they're spread out a little bit, because sometimes there's quite a bit of information on some of these things, which is why I double spaced it like that. Make it wider. See, the problem is if I make it wider, and I don't have a lot of options as far as I don't think I have a lot of options as far as the font size or anything is concerned. So, and I don't want to make it wider like this. It takes up too much real estate, because a lot of this stuff is kind of important for, at least for me, to look at. So, but I'll take all those under consideration. I appreciate it. Then you took NOC short at 10:45. All right, good job. Yeah, I like it short. Again, I'm not in any rush to jump into anything right now. I did take Sarah short. I'm going to try to get out of it today. It's trading at 23.05. Again, that gives me $1.95 of intrinsic value on the one that I paid $1.80 for. Choppy here. Market's chopping sideways. Sarah continues to pull down. Again, this is relative weakness. This is what indicates relative weakness, is the market is kind of moving sideways. And Sarah is moving down. There's some relative strength stocks. NBIS. Again, when you look at the NBIS here, you look out on here on the 5-minute chart. You've got to look at the daily chart, because that's where it becomes critical as to whether it's tradable or not. And it's actually fairly bullish on NBIS. A lot of low price stocks here in this group. The Cell H, that's really not a great move up. Most of the everything's are red. When you see them on this cascading up and they're red, those are bouncing off of lows. For the most part, you're going to find it coming down and then bouncing. And so with the cascading up, you're really interested in stocks that are green for the day. Cascading down, you're really interested in stocks that are red for the day. Like that. STOK. Pretty nice short. Pretty nice short. Again, I'd have to look at the daily chart to see if they were tradable for a short. And anything that's cascading down that's green, those would be pulling off of highs. All right. Stephen, your vote is to make it wider. If it make it work for yourself, okay. I'll look into some options on that after the market closes today. Yeah, just trying to be able to see all the open trades. I understand. This will disappear today. This one will disappear today. Although I might leave NOCO out there. See, RGTI is also closed out from yesterday for the alert service and most of the people in the room. So this isn't actually live for most people. This is closed out. This is closed out for some people, but still active for some. And Palantir will be gone. That will be off. So there'll be a lot more space out here. But I'll think about that. Dimitri, I appreciate that. You're happy to sit at my shoulder, hearing my musings and watch my analysis. Your anxiety has been reduced so much. You know, what's one of the things I try to do in the room is try to keep as low stress as possible. Listen, when you got money at risk, there's stress. All right, can't avoid that. But I'm trying to keep it as low stress as possible. Try to answer everybody's questions. Try to instill everybody to maintain discipline and be patient. Look for trades and look for high probability trades, but don't just trade. Don't just take trades to take trades. Again, our objective here is not to make trades. Our objective is to make money. We do that by only taking the very best trades. I mean, is the SPY a good short setup here? Well, I can't take it with this momentum telling me that it's not. This needs to roll over before I could possibly take it short. And if it goes back up above the VWAP, I've still got the pivot point here. So I try to go over all of the nuances that I'm looking at for the trades that I take or may take, or trades that anybody takes. I'm trying to help with technical analysis. Take a look at CLS, Roger. And when we've traded in the past, yeah, it's a pretty nice setup on CLS. Trying to break out here, bullish today, up almost 2%. I like CLS long. That's a pretty nice setup. Again, right now I'm not adding anything else at the moment until I see what this market's going to do. Swing trading is very difficult when you're in a choppy market like this we've been for the last couple of weeks, but that's a nice setup on CLS. Here's CLS that he was just talking about. Roger was just mentioning CLS. Here it is right here. We've traded this before, and again, see how it gets away from the 8. Again, gets extended from the 8, comes right back to the 8. I use the 8 and 15 together, breaks through the 8, then I wait to see if the 15 holds. It did here, it did here, it did here, it did here, it did all the way through this. Now it's just kind of following up the 8 right now. So this is a pretty decent long right here. It did fall down below the 15 right here, but then it bounced right back up. That's a nice setup on CLS. SPY coming in, just went yellow. There's your short setup right there. Momentum indicator just pulled down. It's pulling down hard. This is a pretty good short setup on the SPY right here. I'm going to take some introductory puts here. Okay, I'm short the SPY with some puts. See what they do. Again, I like the breakdown here. One of the reasons I like having this oscillator on here, it kind of shows you the slope of the change from green to yellow here. So I'll just see if that holds. But anyway, I took some puts. Saro right now is up to 215. Again, I got a sell order at 230. And I'm in the SPY puts. We'll see if they work. $5.92 puts, I'm short. Again, I'll keep my eye on the, I've got the 15 here basically as my stop on this thing. It's got it's wedged in here with a dynamic compression zone, the 15, the VWAP. There's a lot of resistance up here for it to move up. And now that I have momentum yellow, then I can take that trade. Q is the same thing, but I like the SPY better here. Q's have got quite a bit of support right here on the 8 and the 15. SPY, I'd like to see it stay below the 50-day moving average. 50-day moving average on the SPY, 593.62. 593.62. So I want to see it stay below 593.62, which is quite a ways. That's going to be too far me. I'll be out before that probably if it bounces. Again, I took my MSTR straddle off today. I get in for 38 something and get out about $40. $33 yesterday, 32 something. So I made about 600 or 700 on that. Right now it's back down to 33.70, so it's bounced up a little bit. So watch the SPY here, trying to bounce. The price action is kind of against the. It's been kind of against the momentum indicator here for a bit here, because we went green here. Stock didn't really, price didn't really go anywhere. Now it's going yellow and the price is bouncing up, but we're still heading down. Again, we're awfully close to this switching back to blue again if it moves back up, in which case I'd have to take it off. Yeah, Shy, I know that I could make these things shorter if I abbreviate the 12, 16, Robolex 117, 40, 57 call. I tried to do that before. The problem is some of the folks that are pretty new to trading, I end up explaining it over and over and over again. So that's why I write it out. Dimitri Saro up about 20%. Very nice. Watching the SPY, getting ready to take me out here. Yeah, Saro's still coming in. Hopefully I'll close that pretty soon. I was FI looking for a cost average buy. I wouldn't touch it. I'm sick of this stock. I'm sick of this stock. It's gapped down. I bought it when it went to the 50-day. I thought it would bounce from there. I thought that it was oversold. It's just gone nowhere but sideways. The last thing I wanted to do was go sideways. Again, I got to watch the SPY here. I might have to take this off. I'm gonna use the VWAP as see if it stands. Again, you see how this went back to blue? We had a pretty nice pull down. It went to yellow. Now that's telling me it's sloping up, and it could easily go right back to green again. But I'm staying in the short for right now because I did get some move down in the momentum. It's a little tricky here. Yeah, good money after bad on the FI, absolutely. There's a lot of better setups out there. Doug, you lost 62 cents of the SPY put. I'm staying in it. The price action here tells me, even though my indicator's going back to blue again, the price action tells me that this VWAP is holding. So as long as I think this VWAP's holding, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, which means I'm going to give myself a little room to lose money on this thing. But I'm going to stick with it right now and see if the momentum indicator shifts down again. I couldn't enter it here because it's blue, but I entered it here, and I'm going to stay in it until it proves me wrong by breaking up through the VWAP. We're bearish on the day here right now, even though we bounced up, but we haven't noticed we have not been able to get above the VWAP since the ISM numbers. You know, it's really hard to express all the nuances that go into these SPY super system trades, especially when you're having a lot of chop like this. But again, this was a SPY super system entry. I took it. I'm staying in it. If it gets above the VWAP, I'll take the loss. It'll be a larger loss than normal, but I still think the price action is bearish here in the market. So again, I'm using that as part of my formula for what I want to do here. Again, just watching here. I'm in the SPY puts. Again, it's gone back to yellow again. Again, I was using the VWAP even though I get in off the 15. And the reason I stayed in is I mentioned this already. All right, this one's switched back and forth, so that's choppiness. But the price action is pretty bearish here. It's coming down through the VWAP, has not been able to clear the VWAP. So my feeling is that the SPY is likely to pull down. So that's why I took it right here. Now I could have got out right here as it bounced back up to the 15, but I'm holding on to this to see if we break down. And now the momentum's starting to break down some more here. Saro trading at 23 bucks right now. Bounced up just a bit. I don't think I've closed it yet. Nope, trading at 215. SPY probably just chopping sideways here. And we may just chop around for a while. About 11:45 here right now. Again, SPY trying desperately to hold the 50-day moving average. 593.62. It's below it still right now. It's sitting right on the 8 exponential moving average on the SPY. Here's the daily chart on the SPY. Again, that's why I say these swing trades are so difficult right now. This action's pretty good. This is absolute mayhem here of price action. I mean, look at the wicks and tails on the SPY here. Very difficult to know where things are going to go. So you take the very best trades you can, but you've got to keep your trade size down, and you got to keep your number of trades down. Very, very choppy action here in the market. Just moving sideways. All right, VRNA continuing strong. Yep, been grinding up pretty nicely. Had quite a wild ride today. Down is 43.71, high of 49.69. That's quite a big move for them, $6. Nice setup though on VRNA. This is a nice daily chart. This is again, Ari this is his forte here. This is his area of expertise in these biotech and medtech stocks. You can see this nice move up, but it chops back and forth around the 15 and the 8. But this is a pretty nice setup right here as it's bouncing off the 8 right now. Pretty big candle for VRNA Verona. SPY creeping down. SPY starting to make a little progress to the downside now.
Trump out said that there'll be very serious tariffs on Mexico and Canada.
Yes, so the SPY puts now are in the money pretty nicely. I'm up about 30 cents on them right now. Up about 30 cents on this drop. Again, I was just reading price action here is all. I took it short here as is this what yellow, the price bounced back up against above the 15. I used the VWAP instead of the 15 because of right in this dynamic compression zone, and now it's breaking down and it's giving me an opportunity to take this off with some profits here in a minute. I'm probably not going to stay in it too long, but this is a pretty decent drop. Notice how we've gone blue to yellow, and notice how steep that drop is right there. It kind of gives you an indication that the momentum is turning bearish pretty quickly. All right, so I took the SPY calls puts off. I took them off for 30 cents. Again, that took a little bit of staying power. We had a lot of movement back and forth, and again, I gave it room because the price action was bearish, in my opinion, to staying below the VWAP. Yeah, it could have crossed the VWAP, Doug. Again, the nuances on these things is I'm looking at the price action for the day, and did I expect it to? I didn't think it was going to go above the VWAP, because it hasn't. I mean, it's been going up to it and shorting it, so that's why I was able to stay in when this thing bounced back up to the 15 right here. And again, this is part of this is reading price action, and that's what I was reading, and I think I was fairly clear about that when I told you what I was doing.
FDA orphan drug designation on the name.
Steve Sarro closed for $40 profit. Good job. It's still coming down. It's trading at $22.89. I don't know where I'm at on mine right now. I'm probably getting close to my sell order on there. Yeah, it still claims it's trading at $215. Bid ask on it is T210 by 220. I need the thing to fall probably about another 10 cents. It's trading at $22.88 right now. And again, I got 25, so I've got $2.12 of intrinsic value built into that. So they're not giving me much. Value for time or volatility here right now. But again, about a 10-cent drop will get me out. And I'm out of the SPY's puts, by the way. I took my SPY puts off. Again, I was stayed in based on the price action. This moved back to here. You could you could have easily taken the loss right here, and it would not be a bad trade. I mean, it was the proper thing to do. Except I was reading price action, and I just didn't see that this thing was going to get above the VWAP, especially with momentum starting to drop off again. So that was my theory on it. Eric, you're starting to get the feel of the SPY super system. Cool. It's not complicated to trade. You're only looking at the VWAP and the 15 EMA. The price action is the tricky part. Reading the price action. When you get a trending day, it's easy. when you're doing this kind of a mess, it's not easy. But it's got a very high win rate again. And I've tried to explain why I stayed into this one, even though there was reasons to exit right here as it went back to blue. But I didn't, because I thought the VWAP was going to hold just because of the price action we've seen right now. And if it popped up above the VWAP, yeah, I was going to take a bigger loss than normal. But you have to rely on your price action and reading ability eventually. I mean, I depend a lot on being able to technicals and being able to read price action. Coming up about 12 o'clock after a pretty weird day. Nice gap up here this morning, and a big pull down. We get this was a 10 o'clock report, the ISM, and the jolted the market to the downside as it broke through the VWAP. It's impossible to catch this, in my opinion. This was a short you could have taken right here, that as it bounced off of the VWAP and the 15 right here. Take it short, get out down here. You're out here in this candle. You can't trade this thing long off of that. Get the VWAP right there. I took it short here when it went yellow. It bounced up, went blue, and then it rolled over, and I took my profits. Not a massive trade for me, about $30 to $30 a contract profits, but I'm happy with that in this kind of a market. Now it may continue on down here. It's getting pretty weak, and it's falling. But again, the SPY, you've got to look at the daily chart. We just broke below the 8 here, and we have support at 589.77. 589.77, so about $1 lower to support on the SPY. But it's just as it's important to look at the daily chart on these things. Are we getting any kind of a trend here? I mean, this is a mess. It really is a mess. I mean, this is an absolute mess of candlesticks. Trying to read this thing is a horror show. So nice move up yesterday. Looked like we broke out above the 50. Are we going up? We did it over here, right back down. We're going up, right back down. Chop, chop, chop. Very difficult for trading swing trades, because you're getting bounced all over the place. You kind of have to stick with day trades if you can. In the SPY super system, the SPY super system will give you some decent wins on this kind of a messy market. Robert looking at UPST short. Get some room down to the 100. Yeah, it does have some room. I got a 55.31 support level on it, 55.31, but that's a fairly good drop. And if you look at the TC2000 chart on it, it becomes clear that this was a bull flag that's broken. It's broken down below here, This was the next support level right here. It's broken below that. Here's your next support level right down here. It's basically the gap fill down here, 55.31, which is right at the 100-day moving average. Nice look on that one. Nice look on that one, Robert. Kind of like reading tea leaves. Yeah, reading price actions is kind of like reading tea leaves. I mean, you're never going to be right all the time, but you know, experience kind of gives you a little bit of an edge. I mean, I've been doing this for so long that, you know, I just had a. It's not. It wasn't. I shouldn't say it's a feeling. It's not a feeling. It's an analysis of what the price action looked like. I thought there was a much better likelihood that the SPY was going to bounce below or go break down below the VWAP again, as opposed to breaking through it. So that's what it is. It's part of the analysis. Shy looking at D-Dog, broke the 50 SMA as a gap fill to 139.80. Yep, it certainly does. Yeah, it's got a couple of gaps to fill. It just broke this gap. It's got a gap fill down that you just mentioned. And I actually have a support level on it at 136.08. 136.08. Joseph, you got a put debit spread on Workday from last week. Yeah, I know you mentioned Workday. Yeah, good. That's a nice trade. Debit spread on Workday is a beautiful trade. $250 stocks. It's a nice way to trade that thing with a debit spread, and you get the 200-day moving average at 245.09. $3 lower. Doug, wasn't part of my analysis that after so long a downturn, it's probably due to soon turn upwards? No. I had no reason to think that it was going to turn upwards based on the price action today. You know, that's like thinking if you're trying to pick a bottom on the thing, but the market is bearish today. So my thinking is it was more likely to go down than go up. And you know, that's what happens when you look at stocks at lows and highs. Yeah, you're expecting that there's going to be a reversal because it's been going down for so long. But could a stock stay below the VWAP all day? Of course it could. It could stay below the VWAP all day long. I mean, when the market's coming down, it's my analysis is going to be that it's likely to continue down than to have any kind of a big bounce, especially when I'm staying below the VWAP. If it gets above the VWAP, it's a whole different story. Robert, thanks for the analysis on UPST. Oh, no problem. That's what I like to do that. I mean, it helps me a lot. And where did the 55.33 level come from? UPST? I'll show you. $55.37 actually. That line right there. It's a high volume. That's a high volume support and resistance level right there, based on high volume candles. I draw these. It takes a little experience to get to use these, to get to draw these, but I create those. Sean, you think the live streams are fantastic? I'm happy to hear that. Again, I'm always happy to have people join the room, join the alert service, buy the software. The software is what makes it. Being know what the institutions are doing is really, really, and well as so many folks on here on YouTube right now, I'm going to show you the new template that's available if you buy the software and use it. If and I'll just show it real quickly here. I'm going to load the study set. We have a new study set for SPY super system setups only. It takes away the other indicators that are that don't impact the SPY super system trades. Just puts the current time frame momentum on there with the oscillator, the VWAP, the 15 EMA, and the pivot point, and the pop out of the box symbols, and that's it. It has this dynamic compression zone as well. So if you're trading SPY super system, it's all you want. This gives you the basic setup for what you want, and it's toggleable. You know, you just take the software, you'll get it, and you can toggle back and forth between the current one, like I have here. The new, this is the one there and that one there. So that's available now if you buy the software. Still watching Saro, which has bounced up a little bit, but still under $23. Haven't got filled on it yet. I know some folks took profits in it. I paid $180 for it. It's 210 by 220 right now. And I did take profits in the SPY super system setup that I called out. I spent quite a bit of time going over that with everybody, so hopefully that helped. And again, I took what, $30 of contract profits on it. And on a day like this, that's not bad on this kind of a chop. Carl, will the SPY super system study be available for existing users? Absolutely. Absolutely. You just need to let them know. Sergio's got it today. You just send them an email requesting it, and they'll either send it to you if you want to install it, or they'll put it on there for you. Doug, my analysis was helpful. I'm happy. I'm glad for that, because I tried to explain why I was staying in there. I could have lost money on it, but I didn't. Again, yeah, that new setup, the new template for the SPY super system is available for anybody who owns the Compass or the SPY super system right now. Anybody new that buys it will get it as well. Well, after 12 o'clock. Probably going to eat lunch here in about 15 minutes or so. At the point in time, I'll shut down stop the YouTube feed. Really appreciate all the folks from YouTube in here today. A lot of good questions. Shy looking at CRM for another nice short setup. Yep, right through the 50-day moving average, right at a high volume support level. 323.52. It went right to it this morning. Right to it. Again, these high volume support and resistance levels are relatively effective. Listen, nothing's 100% effective, but they're relatively effective. You see how it went down and touched it and bounced off of it. Kind of important that they do work pretty well. And again, nothing's 100%. You have to use things in conjunction with other things. You need multiple things to come together. But you see how NVIDIA went right down to that 8 exponential moving average, the high volume, and it's sit right there and bounced right off of it. And it's sitting right down there right now. Apple. Anytime I look at some of these, I can get a good idea. There's an MSTR that I took. as a straddle yesterday. Made nice money on that one. And again, I took it off when the stock went down to the 15 and the 8, because that becomes support. My puts were well on the money, so that's when I get out, because if I couldn't afford to have this thing bounce back up again on a straddle, it would really hurt me. And again, I did take some Saro puts. It's a pretty nice setup in Saro. It's only been around since back here in October.
I'll ask you, pressure out, sum of material announcing expiration of HSR Act, waiting period for acquisition by quick read.
What do I think about Lockheed Martin, Gary? Lockheed Martin, it was a nice short yesterday. I shorted NOC yesterday. They're in the same industry, but you've got a support here at 463.63, so pretty close. It pounded right through two of them yesterday, and then you see this morning it went right up to this one, and then pulled right back down through it again. It's pretty wild moving. I took NOC yesterday. I still think it's a better short setup than Lockheed Martin, because it's got more room down here to 444. But it is up a little bit today. I took it off already, took profits in it, but some folks didn't get filled. Lockheed Martin also bouncing a little bit, but it has support below it. And Raytheon's the other one in the same industry, and it's kind of bouncing as well. For a bull put spread, you're talking about a credit spread. Assuming the stock is good for a bull put spread is bullish. All right, so you're doing a credit spread. You don't think Lockheed Martin's going to fall any further? Correct? Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that. I'm just going to give you my own opinion on this. All right. Credit spread should be done on stocks. Put credit spread should be done on stocks that are neutral to bullish. I cannot, in any stretch of my imagination, consider Lockheed Martin's neutral to bullish. It's definitely bearish. Will it break down below here? I don't know. But where are you going to where are you going to sell your short put? I mean, where are you going to sell your short put? You're below all these moving averages. You don't have any major support levels down here. You've got these horizontal levels, but that's it. So, in my opinion, put credit spreads have to be done on neutral to bullish stocks. Not trying to be critical, just trying to tell you what my take would be on that. This is really not a good market to be doing put credit spreads in, to be honest with you. The volatility is pretty good, so selling's pretty good, but you've got to find a really good stock that's neutral to bullish, that's not going to be affected by these wild market swings that we're going through right now. Remember, we got a jobs report next Friday. We have the Fed coming up. We have earnings coming up. A lot of volatility can be infused into the market here in the next couple of weeks. So the last thing you want with a put credit spread is to have an awful lot of volatility where you could have your short put get taken out. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of time, look for some setups, see if I can find any strangles and straddles, which I do like taking in this environment. I'll see what I can find, see if there's any, I keep answering questions, of course. Then I'm going to take lunch here in just a little bit. Sean, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Moderna with a little bit of bullishness today. Bones enough. Still yellow here on the multi-time frame. Current time frame is going green. Pretty big bounce. Coming off a pretty deep low here. Got room up to 56.44 is the 100-day moving average. Quite a bit of room to move. I took a strangle on this last week and I lost money on it, so gonna kind of hesitate on that one right now. SPY right to the 15 breaking down. Another SPY super system entry right here. See if it continues on down. Again, we get the 15 right here. See if it breaks below low. We do have a couple of, about a triple bottom right here on the SPY. So that's would need to break through there. I'm gonna be fairly conservative and taking profits here today. This is again, this is a triple bottom down here in the SPY. I just put a sell order in here too. We'll make 30 cents on the SPY. We'll see if it happens. Just kind of chopping around. Alright, so I just peeled it off. I just put 30 cents on it. That's it. I'm off of that. I'm gonna get some lunch. It might keep on going down again, but it's got this triple bottom right here. We'll see if that holds. But anyway, I just took profits on that SPY super system setup as it came up to the 15, broke off the 15. We had multi-time frame momentum, red. Take a trade right here. Boom, boom, out. Microsoft alert below all SMAs. Good job, Shai. Yeah, I was looking at that. You mentioned that earlier. Very nice. Dimitri short CNX, January 17th, 35 puts. Let's see. Well, that's what you like. CNX, again, wheel stock. Watch the 50-day moving average. Watch the 200-day moving average on CNX. I wouldn't short it here just because of that. Too much likelihood of a bounce to here, of a pullback to here, and support there. Put debit spread on Win, Dimitri, January 17th, 91.86. Let's look. $91.86 for debit spread. See, when I do a debit spread, I'm taking at the money or in the money, slightly in the money or slightly out of the money, on the long put that I'm taking. So my long put, if I was going to do a debit spread on Win, would I be looking for it to move down here to about 81? I'd be taking a look at like the 83 put or the 84 put, and having the selling of an 81 or an 82 put on it. That's how I would do that. When you've got a $5 spread, you got 91 to 86 for 375. In my opinion, the proper way to do a debit spread is to get into the spread either right at the money or slightly in the money or slightly out of the money, but where your short put, or the put that you're buying, the put that you actually are on for looking for the stock to move down, it should be right around the strike price, and what you pay for it should be less than 50% of the spread. So you've got a 91.86 spread, you got a $5 spread. You want to be trying to find pricing where you can get in there for less than $2.50. Okay, because your upside potential on this thing is only $1.25, and you're risking $3.75. And yeah, I understand it's in the money, but if it bounces here, you're going to be in trouble, and your risk reward is very skewed. You want to be able to get into a debit spread for 50%. 1/3 is no good. 50% or less than 50%. The more less than 50%, the better. And if you're looking at a stock and you like it short, I'd be a little bit hesitant to Win because of this high volume line here. If you're looking at a stock short, you're expecting it to move down. So this if you're expecting it to go short, you're expecting it to get down into below 83, 82, 81, and that's the area you want to be in for your debit spread. Okay? And I have a video on debit spreads, and that's all included in there. You want to be able to get in for less than 50% of the spread, and you want to have the strike price be the option that you're long. You want it right at the money or slightly out of the money, but you want it to be able to get into the money pretty quickly. Yeah, you're looking intrinsic to buy it cheap, but the problem is you're structuring a debit spread here. You're not buying a straight put. Straight put's one thing, but a debit spread's completely different. Because remember, debit spread, you want to make money on the debit spread, but you're also limiting your downside when you don't take straight puts. So that means you've got to restructure that so that you can get in for less than 50%. So your upside potential is 30, 40, 50% on it. SPY just chopping here right now. Again, I'm out of this. I took this trade here. I'm out of it here. Price action very choppy here. Momentum very weak. Price action very choppy. All right, about 12:30, I'm going to grab some lunch. I'll go ahead and shut the YouTube feed down. I've been running for a little over an hour. Thanks everybody on YouTube today. Thanks for joining us. Hope it's helpful as far as educating you on becoming a better trader. That's what I try to do. Again, our objective here is not to make trades. Our objective is to make money. We do that by only taking the very best trades that we can find with a particular structure or a particular strategy that meets the market conditions at the time. All right, everybody. Thanks, YouTube folks. I will see you all tomorrow. I'll be here again around 11. Remember, we're closed on Thursday, by the way.